Yo, what's good YouTube? Zamcro here, aka Scoot, back with the Continental Pokemon Championship, the CPC Major Season 6, week number 2, and we're taking on North Vader, coach of the Scarborough Star Raptors. Pretty decent player, and has a pretty solid team behind him as well, so that's pretty cool. But we're coming off of a 1-0 loss in week 1 where we definitely thought we had the win. The loss definitely won't deter us, make us feel discouraged or anything like that. But we're definitely still having fun. Like, we want to win, but we want to have fun as well. So we're going to be bringing some fun. We're trying to make things funner than normal. So expect some cool sets from me, or at least some fun sets. They might not be cool, but at least some fun sets for me, in my opinion, anyway. Expect that, and hopefully we can grab some W's as well as have as much fun as possible. So that's really the plan here in the CPC, and we're surrounded by some really competent, smart players. So we know that we can play the way we want to play based on knowing that our opponents will play more optimal than some other leagues that I may have been a part of in the past. But yeah, nonetheless, the CPC seems to be great competition so far. Like I mentioned, we did lose in week 1, so we're already facing an uphill battle. But this week we're facing North Vader, coach of the Scarborough Star Raptors, like I mentioned before. He's got Celesteela, Terrakion, Crocodile, Mega Manectric, Decidueye, Comfy, Alamomola, Gudra, Golbat, Salazzle, Kecleon, and Meowstic. The male version only, not the female version. You can't get both versions because they're basically two completely different Pokemon. But yeah, that's going to be his team. Our team hasn't changed yet. I don't think, anyway. We have Mega Gallade, Tapu Fini, Alolan Muck, Licky, Bronzong, Thundurus Therian, Silvally, Gligar, Kartana, Haunter, and Tortonator. So this week we're actually just going to be bringing no Tapu Fini, no Kartana this week, and still yet to bring Haunter. Definitely going to be bringing that Spook eventually, but this week we're going to be bringing Mega Gallade, Tapu Fini, Licky, Bronzong, Thundurus Therian, Gligar, and we're going to be trying to pull off a sweep with either Mega Gallade or Thundurus Therian. My opponent has 2 Intimidate users, so I expect him to... First of all, I only expect one of them. I only expect Mega Manectric. I don't expect Crocodile. But I expect my opponent to expect me to be deterred from, physically offensive pressure. Obviously outside of Mega Gallade. So, like, offensive Muck or like a Curse Licky isn't really optimal. Swords Dance and Gligar really isn't optimal since my opponent has 2 Intimidate users, Celesteela, Decidueye, Golbat, etc. But that's exactly the reason I'm going to be bringing this kind of strategy. I don't think my opponent would be prepared for it as much as he should be, but yeah, that's what I'm going to be bringing. We'll go ahead and hop into the team builder here. First off, we're bringing Mega Gallade here, obviously. Going to be, top 5 Mega here. We got a Swords Dancing variant this week with enough speed to outpace Terrakion. That's a huge speed tier. It's a potential Z-move user, so that's scary. Swords Dance or Choice Banded variants, whatever it may be. As long as he's not Choice Scarf, I can always Revenge Kill Terrakion with Mega Gallade. And not only that, my opponent doesn't have a really good Mega Gallade switch in, so every time that Crocodile might be a problem, or Celesteela, a defensive Celesteela might be a problem, or Terrakion may be a problem, or Kecleon, any of these Pokemon that I can easily outspeed and OHKO could be a problem, then my opponent's going to either lose a Pokemon or switch something in and it's going to be 2-hit KO'd anyway. So Gallade's a really huge threat, especially if I can get up a Swords Dance. A free Swords Dance would be amazing, like expecting the Crook switch or expecting, like, I don't really expect Crocodile, but if it comes, it comes. Alamola could be passing a wish or something like that. Could click protect. I could get up the free source nets on it as well. Same thing for like Decidui on a roost, Celesteela on a protect, or anything like that. Or if it's just Terrakion switching out and I set up a Swords Dance predicting the switch, Crocodile switching out and I set up a Swords Dance predicting the switch, and then his team's really, really, really in trouble because outside of like Choice Specs Comfy, he doesn't really have a solid way to revenge kill Mega Gallade either, and he needs to be like Choice Specs Draining Kiss, Modest Draining Kiss or something like that with the ability that allows recovering moves to go first, healing moves to go first, so Draining Kiss could get priority and revenge kill me that way. But outside of that, like, he doesn't have a solid revenge killer. Mega Manetric's not strong enough. I'm too bulky on the especially defensive side naturally, so Manetric can't be a solid revenge killer. Salazzle can't either because it's also a special attacker and lacks the immediate power to break Mega Gallade. Even with like a Life Orb Fire Blast, I think I still pretty much survive those as long as I'm roughly close to full health or something like that. So I think that's noteworthy. And like he doesn't, like I said, he doesn't have a switch into this. Zen Headbutt's getting rid of his Fairy type. Knockoff's getting rid of his Ghost type. Close Combat's dropping basically everything else that's not Meowstic. And it's going to be dropping to the knockoff anyway, and probably drops to a +2 close combat, unless it's really defensive anyway. But obviously, I'll just be clicking knockoff, so it's not really that big of an issue. I do have the justified ability so that if I come in on a knockoff from Crook or a Pursuit, or not a Pursuit, obviously, but if I take a knockoff or a Crunch from Crocodile, if it does come, then I'll get a boost from that. If he's I can't think of another scenario really. But yeah, that's about the only way I would get my justified boost. And I do have, if my opponent is like an Autotomized Celesteela and he's got Air Slash, it shouldn't knock me out now, with one hit. And after I Mega Evolve, I will have the Inner Focus ability and I can't be flinched. So the Air Slash can't be a problem that way, and I can avoid a 2-hit KO. So that's pretty dope, in my opinion. Same thing for Golbat as well, if it tries to Air Slash flinch me down. So anyways, next up we have our Blue Dream here, Tapu Fini, with the defensive investment this week. We're going to be taking on Terrakion the best we can. This avoids a 2-hit KO from a Choice Banded variant after leftovers, and I really, really needed Protect, but I couldn't put it on here, so I had to bypass that. And I go with Nature's Madness, Surf, Moonblast, and Taunt. And like I mentioned, this thing is so physically defensive invested that it takes hits from Terrakion, Celesteela, Crocodile, even takes hits from Decidueye. Can take a Leaf Blade from full, takes hits from Goodra, Golbat, Salazzle. Doesn't appreciate a Sludge Wave from Salazzle, but can take the fire type attacks, and if it has to, it is specially, naturally specially defensive anyway, so it can take any one hit basically from the entire team. It can taunt things, it can prevent Celesteela from throwing off Leaf Seeds, can prevent it from Protect spam. Same thing for Crocodile, it could potentially prevent rocks, could prevent Crocodile from taunting itself if it's really slow. And Decidueye could prevent it from roosting. Same thing for Comfy, could prevent the Synthesis or the Leech Seed. Alamola could be prevented from wishing, passing wishes that could potentially win my opponent the game or something like that, and prevents like a Curse, Rest Talk Goodra from being a problem. Although I naturally check it big, my Fairy typing. Salazzle can't take a Surf after Stealth Rocks, which is pretty dope. However, it can switch in on Moonblast pretty comfortably. However, Surf is my most optimal move this week. So long as Decidueye is weakened or gone, Surf is my optimal move this week. Same for Goodra as well. Alamola I don't really mind about because it'll eventually be weakened down anyway. And yeah, I can potentially prevent Prankster, Meowstic from being a problem with Taunt, and I don't like Prankster's Eye. It's one of the abilities that I can't stand the most. I've never been fond of prepping for it or playing against it, so I think that's noteworthy to mention. when you're talking about trying to have fun and talking about your prep as well. So that being said, we can move on to Licky Licky, who is our backbone this week. We have the Misty Surge, so it can prevent this thing from being poisoned or paralyzed or anything like this. But this is the backbone. The team does not have recovery this week whatsoever, outside of Wish Protect on Licky Licky. My Gligar doesn't have Roost. Bronzong doesn't have any kind of recovery. And Tapu Fini's only getting leftovers recovery, so that's really important. These wishes are so important to be passed on the perfect timings and stuff like that, that it's really, it's almost going to be, like I'm going to have to be super focused to win this game. I got to be able to throw off my wishes at the perfect timing. I don't have a way to hit Terrakion with this Pokemon. I couldn't put Earthquake on it this time. I guess maybe I could have put Earthquake on it. I didn't. I guess I'm starting to think that Earthquake is a way better option than Frustration on here. I'm starting to question why I brought Frustration. Earthquake hits Salazzle better, hits Terrakion better, hits Mega Manectric better. Is there a reason for Frustration? I think I'm running Frustration because I was initially going to be a Curse set, and then changed my mind. I was going to be a Rest Talk Curse set with Frustration. Curse, Sleep Talk, Rest, Frustration, and I don't need any coverage because his entire team. But it didn't make sense because he had Celesteela, he had Decidueye, he had Terrakion, so normal spam wasn't making sense. Even though I was just trying to have fun. But so this is the set that I come up with. But Earthquake should have been changed over Frustration. I'm not sure if I just missed that going into the game or something like that. But yeah, should have definitely brought Earthquake. It was way better, way better in this matchup. Frustration's not even a play unless you just have to. Knockoff, just spamming knockoff gets rid of items. I always thought that I could throw off a Wish, and he's more than likely going to always hard switch in something like Terrakion or Crocodile on this thing, so he can get the Intimidate off or pressure me out with a close combat, so that something else has to receive the Wish. And I think that could be more than an aggressive playstyle for my opponent if he wanted to go that route. But yeah, just passing Wishes off to Tapu Fini, Bronzong, and Gligar is really important in this match. Even if Gallade takes quite a bit of damage, I can potentially throw off a Wish to it, put it in a healthy amount of HP, so that later on in the match it can take a hit and then potentially clean up, or while it's cleaning up, it can survive a hit and prevent it from being revenge killed or something like that. But that's going to be it for Licky Licky. Our next Pokemon is Bronzong we're bringing this week with the Cobra Berry, because even though it's a small chance, there is a chance he could bring in the Crocodile, and I need this thing to, semi-check a lot of his team, and I need my Stealth Rocks up, and I want to Toxic some certain Pokemon on his team. So I wanted the Cobra Berry so that if he does bring Crocodile and he Pursuit Traps me, I'm in a position to where I can potentially live with my defense investment, my HP investment, the Cobra Berry, and then just being naturally bulky. So my Spadef investment allows me to just take on Mega Manectric that doesn't have Flamethrower or Overheat, and allows me to take on things like Alomomola, Goodra, and Salazzle to an extent. I don't want to take a Flamethrower or a Fire Blast, but I can switch in on Sludge Wave and then pivot into my Tapu Fini on the Fire Blast or something like that. So I got the Earthquake in case he wants to hard switch in the Manectric or the Salazzle and get some offensive momentum. Gyro Balls there only to hit things like Terrakion and Comfy and things like that. And then Toxic is there for things like Meowstic, Kecleon, Goodra, Alomomola, Decidueye especially, and then can hit things like Crocodile and Terrakion on the switch if he chooses to go that route. Most importantly, though, this is my Stealth Rocker, so that's probably the most important thing and most noteworthy thing to mention here in this prep talk here that Bronzong is for. My boy Bronze Bong is going to be getting those Stealth Rocks up, no doubt. So, as you can see here, our fifth Pokemon is a Life Orb, Agility, physically offensive, Thunder Punch, Brick Break, and Knockoff on my Thunderous Therian here. My boy Thunderfuck coming through with the Adamant Nature, Life Orb, 252 attack, and that really strong Thunder Punch, Brick Break, Knockoff coverage, and the agility to multiply my speed times 2. So the ideal here is, like I mentioned, I have a Swords Dance Baton Passing Gligar. I don't know if I actually mentioned that. But yeah, I have the Swords Dance and Baton Pass Gligar here. And the idea is to set up a Swords Dance Baton Pass into either Mega Gallade or Thunderous Therian and really put the pressure on my opponent. Like I mentioned, I don't think my opponent will bring both of his Intimidate users. I think he will only bring Mega Manectric. I don't think Crocodile serves him much purpose in this game. It drops to Mega Gallade, it drops to Tapu Fini. It can't do much to things like Gligar and some of my other fat Pokemon, like Kartana or Silvally. Like the only thing it's good for is like trapping Haunter or getting some really strong knockoffs on Bronzong. But Bronzong is naturally, or not naturally, but normally used as a Color Berry variant versus things like, well, not things like Crocodile. Well, yes, things like Crocodile, but things that can threaten it with the Dark type or the Knockoff or the Pursuit or things like that. So I don't really expect my opponent to prepare for physically offensive pressure versus him. So I feel like using this Swords Dance Baton Pass idea here, I can potentially Baton Pass a Swords Dance into Mega Gallade and have that +2 attack without ever having to take a hit, being at full health, +2 attack, and then having Mega Gallade there is just, it's a treat that you can't, you don't get things that good on Christmas Day. So there's that. I really think that Baton Passing into Gallade or Thunderous Therian, given the opportunity to set up an agility, I can potentially be at +2 attack and +2 speed, so that Thunderous Therian basically becomes Reckoning, Ragnarok, Armageddon, the end, all that stuff. So my special defense investment here allows me to take hits from well, basically my opponent's entire team. But what I can really live hits from is like any kind of especially offensive Celesteela. I eat those hits up. I eat hits from Comfy, Alamomola, especially offensive Goodra that's not packing Ice Beam. Salazzle, I eat hits from Salazzle all day. This is my Salazzle check, actually. I have enough defense investment to take physically offensive hits from Celesteela, Crocodile. I don't want to switch in. Like, I can take 2 Stone Edges from Banded Terrakion, but I can't switch in on a Terrakion and then take 2, you know what I'm saying? And I don't have anything to hit it with. All I would actually be doing to Terrakion with Knockoff is boosting its attack. I'd get rid of its item and boost its attack anyway, and that would just be problematic. I have Taunt for things like Alamomola and Celesteela, but that's basically it. So the big picture here is to get the Swords Dance up with Gligar and Baton Pass into Thunderous Therian here, my boy Thunderfuck, and get up in agility. Survive 1 hit, get up in agility, be at +2 attack, +2 defense, have Stealth Rocks up, have a little bit of chip on everything, especially if he brings Crocodile, Decidueye, things like that. I need a little bit of chip on those, and if he brings like a big fat bulky Goodra, yeah, then I would have a problem breaking that down too. So I do, like I mentioned though, I am supporting Thunderous Therian's physical offensive pressure presence here with Mega Gallade as well. So I think the combination of the two will overwhelm my opponent. And like I mentioned, I don't expect both of his Intimidators. So yeah, that's gonna be it. The battle goes up tomorrow, so look forward to that. Let me know what you think about the prep. What would you do differently? Go ahead and take a look at the team again. So we have Swords Dancing Mega Gallade here with Close Combat, Zen Headbutt, Knockoff. We have Tapu Fini with Nature's Madness, Surf, Moonblast, and Taunt. We have Licky Licky with Wish, Protect, Frustration, and Frustration and Knockoff, where we really wish it was Earthquake instead of Frustration. and we're also bringing a Cobra Berry variant of Bronzong with Stealth Rock, Gyro Ball, Earthquake, and Toxic. Thunderous Therian is a Life Orb agility set with Thunder Punch, Brick Break, and Knockoff. Adamant max attack, so this boy's putting out some fucking power. Base 105 attack. It's not quite as high as its special attack, but it's still going to be putting out the damage. I do believe so myself. And then last but not least, we have the Immunity Gligar with just the Baton Pass tech with Swords Dance, Knockoff, and Taunt to be our Salazzle check, as well as just, bringing some general bulk to the team, as well as having a momentum move and being part of our win condition. Like, if it can set us up to be in a position to win pretty easily if we can get that Swords Dance passed out into Gallade or Thunderous Therian. We can be in a really, really solid position. We're also running, I don't know if you guys noticed, but we're running it don't show you, but we're running 0 speed and a 0 speed IVs and EVs on this thing. We're not running a minus speed nature. We don't have to. It's not necessary, because this 175 speed allows us to underpace everything basically. That's not running minus speed nature itself. And what this allows us to do is always take a hit first and then baton pass out, so that if we're in on Thunderous Therian, if we're in on something like Mega Manectric and he's going to click the Ice Beam, we're going to live that potentially. I guess that's a bad example, but the idea is to live the hit with Gligar and then baton pass out, to where we don't have to take the hit after we've baton passed the stats out. So if I baton pass my Swords Dance out to Gallade, I don't want to have to take the hit as I come onto the field. I want Gligar to have already taken the hit. So that's the reason for my speed EVs here and IVs and whatnot. So yeah, that's going to be the team. Let me know what you think about the prep here. Are we going to come out with a W? Are we going to lose? Can't lose 2 in a row. That would be very unfortunate. I don't want to start out the season 0-2. But yeah, that's going to be it. Let me know what you think. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. I'll see you guys next time. Battle comes out tomorrow. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.